Hey, I'm Mindy Kinnis. This is The Daily Rage. I received an email from Don in Vancouver, Canada yesterday asking about prop firms and specifically about trade copiers. So I do have some experience with that. I'm just going to share what has worked for me. And then, of course, as always, you guys can make the best decision for yourselves. I want to start looking at this. This is Wealth Charts, and their new feature called OmniProp is my absolute favorite thing, maybe ever. For quite a while, I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of Wealth Charts. I just felt like they were lacking in a lot of things that I could do better, like say on NinjaTrader. But they really have upgraded quite a bit, and this OmniProp thing is awesome. What that means is that you can trade all together any of these accounts. Like let's say you had two accounts from Apex, let's say you had one from Tradeify, and let's say you had one from Alpha Futures. However, whatever you want to do in terms of these various accounts. But because Wealth Charts comes with a trade copier built in, one, you don't have to buy anything separate. And two, you don't have to like integrate it with your platform and then pray that it actually works. It's going to work because it's already built in to Wealth Charts, which is awesome. So like I said, with this OmniProp feature, you can trade all of these things at the same time on one trade copier, which is pretty awesome. So I'm not saying that you should get crazy and try to trade like, 100 accounts at the same time. That I don't recommend that by any means, but it is a really nice feature and can give you a lot of accessibility in terms of like one trade across multiple accounts. Now let's get into the actual companies that I have had accounts with. Obviously, Apex Trader Funding. Now, they still win in terms of being the absolute most budget friendly. For instance, their smallest account right now with the 90% off is only $19.90. Like you're not necessarily going to find that level of pricing with many of these other companies. So you could though change it to end of day. That's my preferred because I do not like that intraday trailing threshold. That thing, that's like not real trading. So I much prefer the end of day, which is a recent, let's say, benefit. And that one's a little bit more pricey, but still, I mean, less than $30. Like it's not going to break the bank for most people. So budget friendly, Apex is definitely the way to go. Now, there is a little bit of a situation like, oh, now they're limiting the amount of payouts. And yeah, like as we've always said, their money, their rules. They can do whatever they want. I still think it's a great opportunity, especially if you don't have a massive war chest of your own to come to the markets with. And secondly, if you are in the like earlier stages where you're, let's say, maybe not as consistent as you could be, I would way rather risk 29.90 on any given day than, let's say, the hundreds of dollars that I used to lose of my own real money. So to me, like, it's still kind of a no-brainer, but as always, different strokes for different folks. I did want to mention their current sale is ending in 4 hours from this recording. That's tonight, Thursday, May 7th. The link and coupon code is down below. The coupon is LUCRA, Lucra. Now, let's move on to Tradeify. I really love Tradeify because of all of these cool options that they have. Like you can kind of mix and match like what you're wanting. They have funding in one day. Okay, cool. And then a variety of account sizes. But as you can see, even with their 40% off discount, which is going on now, these are much higher than Apex pricing. I really love this select choice because of the option for daily payouts. What makes sense to me about this, and to be clear, I have not gotten a daily payout with Tradeify, but to my mind, it makes sense that if you have like a really solid trading day, why not pull some of that profit into your bank account? Like that's what I would do if it was my own account. So I like having the opportunity, or at least the potential to have the opportunity with this select type of account. They also have Lightning, which is instant funding. And let's just say it's a little cheaper than what I'm going to talk about next. So again, like if your budget is an issue for you, you want to look at what are the various costs. They also have this sale going on. This one is all month. You're going to use the same exact coupon code, LUCRA, Lucra. Link is down below. And last but not least, I do want to mention Trade Funder. You guys have heard me talk about this before. In this case, I use the Trade Funder platform when I trade these accounts. So it's like not on Wealth Charts, it's its own thing, and it has its own trade copier also already built in. So that's cool. If you are a stock or options trader, this 100% is the way to go because they're one of the few companies that actually offers funding for stock trading or options trading. Lots of these other ones are just strictly futures. So that's great because I'm a futures trader, but I know that a lot of you guys are stock and options traders. So I'd highly recommend checking out the Trade Funder options. But they also do have futures, and I'll be totally transparent with you. The most money that I have made in trader funding, like any of these prop firms, has been from Trade Funder. Now, why might that be? If I had to guess, I believe that it's because they have a very doable what's called a consistency day. Basically, if you make $250, it counts as a consistency day. To then get paid, you need to have at least 5 days of consistency days. So at least 5 days, and they don't have to be consecutive, but 5 days where you've made $250. And you also have a profit target to hit. But once you hit that, and you have that 5 days, I don't know why, but something about that structure works very well for me. So I do want to mention Trade Funder as an alternative for you. It is the priciest of all these three that I'm mentioning. They occasionally have sales. I, of course, will let you know when the next one is, but you can use my link down below if you'd like to check out what the options are for either stocks, futures, or options. As always, you're going to want to be super careful with trade copiers. Things can go wrong. It's technology, so it's not like, oh, if it goes wrong, it's when it goes wrong. So again, I just want to reiterate, like, I don't recommend trading, a million different accounts all on one trade copier. The reason a trade copier can be so great is you can change certain accounts to be trading minis and certain accounts to be trading micro. So let's say you're working on an evaluation and it's a very small account. Cool. You may want to build that up with micros. You also might want to start out the paid account or the funded account with micros until you actually build it up to give yourself some space. Then when you have a little more room to work with, let's say, then trade a mini. But you can have multiple accounts at various different stages and mix and match them. What quantity do you want to trade? Do you want to trade micros or minis? And I personally love having all of those choices. So Don, I hope that was a little bit helpful. If any of you guys have other questions, I'm happy to share my opinion. One other thing to mention is while I haven't used some of these other companies that Wealth Charts now has, one of the things that I'm looking to do in the coming weeks is to test out these various different prop firms. Then I can give you my honest opinion of like, this sucked, this was great, here's what I recommend, or here's what's working for me. As always, the links to everything I mentioned and the coupon codes are down below. Again, that Apex sale does end tonight, May 7th. I'm Mindy Kinnis. Thanks so much for watching.